Welcome to DM Prep, episode 21 or something like that. I don't know. Why is Slurpbox doing this? Hey, hi. So it says I have 0 viewers. That's cool. Welcome to DM Prep. I'm Ian. I'm your host. Let's delete that thing. That doesn't need to be there. Don't know why that's trying to save things. Technically episode 3. Yeah, it's episode 3 of DM Prep. It's episode 21 of DiA. So we're going to prep for some DiA. So to give you guys some info about where we left off. Sorry about the weird start. I apparently have 2 different versions of OBS installed on this computer, and one of them doesn't work with an alert box because that's not an OBS thing, that's a Streamlabs thing. And the other one does. So I had the wrong one open and I was streaming with that, so I had to kill it and then open the other one. But to do that, I had to end the stream. So real quick, I'm just gonna toss a link into Discord. And then links are alright. Links are in Discord. It still says I have 0 viewers, even though I've seen 3 different people chatting. That's very odd. So, this is where we're at. So last session, the players took off from the Bone Brambles and they headed to Uldrek's grave, or they took off from where they got waylaid as they were leaving the Bone Brambles, and they took off towards Uldrek's grave unknowingly. They tried to get to Arkhan's tower, ended up at Uldrek's grave, met Uldrek, the spined devil, who claimed to be a pit fiend. They saw through that lie, and then browbeat him into a half-decent contract for them. So this was the original form of the contract that I had written out. You can check that out in the last episode, episode 20 of DM Prep. But it changed pretty considerably during the session. I never bothered writing out the whole thing. So I think that might be something that I want to do in this prep session. It might be a good idea to actually hammer out the verbiage as I understand the players negotiating it to read. The interesting thing is that Uldrek probably does not fully understand the contract that he wrote. So that could get interesting. Where's Uldrek? That's weird. My Uldrek disappeared. Where did my Uldrek go? That's odd. I'm not sure why he disappeared. But anyway, that's where he's at. So after making a deal with Uldrek to get some fiend blood, and then, hey Trinity, sorry about the drop. I had some technical difficulties with OBS. Glad to see you're back, or stuck around, as it were. They left Uldrek's grave and tried to go to Arkhan's tower. Ended up at Fort Knucklebone. Left Fort Knucklebone, tried to go to Arkhan's tower, and ended up at the Demon Zapper. Left the Demon Zapper, tried to end up at Arkhan's tower, and actually made it there. So Abaddon tried to talk to Krull a little bit, hoping to just do things peacefully, but Uldrek was like, I don't trust this guy, I don't trust this guy, I don't trust this guy. Folk started up the Cadies, and they saw that as an attack, and they started fighting. So fighting has been happening for, I want to say, 6 rounds at this point. Uldrek has been transformed back into his Empyrean form by way of killing Obatala. They are fighting Arkhan. When Krull was very nearly dead, he used Sending to contact Arkhan, said the tower is under attack, return here at once. Arkhan spent the next 3 rounds, number 1, collecting his weapon and his bodyguard, number 2, collecting their mounts, and then number 3, casting teleport. So those are the 3 rounds between the Sending and the teleport. Arkhan is potentially a TPK, yes, but the players have a few things going for them. Number one, they've got Uldrak on their side. He is a CR23 Empyrean. Fulg has Acades, which has insane offensive power. It is reduced to like 7 health. But yeah, so essentially here's what the battlefield looks like. So Uldrak is outside fighting 4 dragons. Their health bars aren't updated. I want to say the blue dragon has like 50 health left right now. The rest, I believe, are undamaged. The Gloomweaver is actually friendly to the players. So between Uldrak and the Gloomweaver, they can probably take the dragons. And Lulu's there too. She'll probably help. I think she's out of trumpets though, so she's kind of worthless. And then inside, there's just a whole lot of good garbage going on. So Fulg is inside of his Cades. I think he has like 12 hit points, and the Cades has 7, so that's not looking great. There's a whole lot of essentially worthless undead over here, but Gloomweaver took... It was not remotely 50 because it was only a 60-foot fall, so it's 6d6. But I do have the Gloomweaver's current hit points. He's actually at max hit points plus 2 temp HP because he precast a Armor of Agathis. As a Warlock, he has 5th level spell slots that come back on a short rest. So it makes sense to me that prior to short resting, he would always cast Armor of Agathis, just in case he got attacked during the rest. So he showed up with Mage Armor and Armor of Agathis, and they haven't burned through that temp HP. So he's got 2 temps left, and if anyone hits him with melee, they take 25 cold damage. So most of the players are down here on their Demon Grinder, which is covered with a few zombies. Zombies aren't that big a deal, but once Arkhan gets near them, they will be because of the Aura of Hate. As an Oathbreaker Paladin, any undead near him do 4. I think his Charisma modifier is 4. They do plus 4 damage. So the zombies' damage goes from like average of 4 to average of 8. Hey, look at that, average of 4. So doubling the damage out, the average damage output of all of the zombies is pretty significant. But Nixie does still have the 1 charge in her Shield of the Hidden Lord, so she could, if she so chose, fireball some stuff, which I imagine she's probably going to fireball this big old group of stuff. So this is essentially where we're at. Like, there's piles of skeletons with bows. They're going to move just barely into range and start peppering with arrows. Zombies are going to swarm by dashing. These ones are going to start dashing this way. Presumably he's going to start dashing this way. This is like a raised area, so this is a 20-foot drop here. It's not like a solid wall. So you could vault over this if you wanted. And then... So, here is my plan. So, what I'm... And I feel kind of bad because normally like the prep session is when I figure things out, but sometimes between sessions I don't wait until I sit down to prep to actually start thinking about stuff. I just start like thinking and just start. Is the plan blow up the tower? Uldrak's already kind of doing that. So if you see this big red circle, Uldrak cast Earthquake on the front of the tower. So if he continues to concentrate on that, the tower will fall. At least the front half of it will, which will probably pull the rest, the other half with it. But yeah, so I did a lot of thinking about how this thing is going to go down from here. Which this is kind of an interesting opportunity because generally what I like to do is I like to end sessions after a fight. And I feel like I kind of did that here where it was after the first phase of the fight, or actually the way I had written it It was after the second phase of the fight and the beginning of the third phase of the fight. So we ended the session as soon as Arkhan and crew showed up, and we're actually going to re-roll initiative at the start of next session, just because it doesn't make sense for Arkhan and crew to roll into an existing initiative order, and it also doesn't make sense for everyone on the battlefield to, Blanket got a 20 on initiative last time based on what he knew then. No, it's the same encounter, new initiative. Unless they manage to actually stop the fight for minutes at a time, but I don't see that happening. Arkhan's going to see a big car covered in zombie gore, and he's just going to start fighting. No, we're re-rolling initiative, not because it's a new encounter, but because the conditions of the encounter have changed significantly. And this isn't something that's actually handled by the rules. The rules never tell you to do this. But at some point, so we started blasting. At some point, the fight becomes so different from what the combatants... Hey, Shadow's Assassin now hosting. Oh no, it's not Shadow's ass, it's Shadow's as. Damn, I fucked up. Here, let me see if I can fix that. 500 wide. Oh no, it deleted it. Oh. Well, if you stop hosting and rehost, then it'll show Shadow's ass again. I done fucked up. But yeah, the encounter has changed so significantly that the initiative counts are no longer representative of the player's ability to respond to the changing battlefield. Initiative shuffle homebrew. Wow. It says you're hosting me, but I didn't get a new one. I got a second host notification, but it doesn't say. I didn't get an alert. That sucks. Sorry, Shadows. I fucked up. Now I know for next week. It has to be 500 wide to get Shadow's ass. Takes about an hour for host notification to show me. Oh, that sucks. That makes sense. You can't spam someone by just hosting them repeatedly. Reroll every round. That is something that I've thought about, and it definitely makes a lot of sense given how chaotic battle can be, especially a huge battle like this. It's every round you need to be reacting to the current situation. So your ability to react to things, your initiative modifier, gives you an edge each round. But the thing is that after the problem with that is durations. So for instance, Uldrak has just hit the young blue dragon with an attack that stunned him. The young blue dragon fell to the ground, took some fall damage, and is stunned until the end of Uldrak's next turn. The point of that effect is that the dragon is forced to skip his next turn. But if, when we re-roll, Uldrak goes before the blue dragon never missed a turn, because Uldrak was at the bottom of the first round. Click a button and everyone gets re-rolled. That's fantastic. If you have some kind of automated system to handle initiative, that's great. I don't want to use them because they're usually clunky. They bother me. I try to use Roll20 as little as humanly possible. I'm slowly learning it. I only want to do things in Roll20 that I can do very, very quickly, and that's not a lot of things. So I'm trying. I am working on learning more, so that I can get better at it, so I can do more things, so that maybe I can run some parts of the game better than I would be able to run it in person. But for now, I can't do initiative in Roll20 nearly as fast as I can with my 3D printed initiative rail. So I'm going to stick with my 3D printed initiative rail for now. So here's what I have been thinking. How are the minis? So Blanket got broken. His arm broke off and broke into 3 pieces. We glued them back together. It doesn't look fantastic, but I think if we repaint it and reseal it, it'll be okay. Other than that, I don't think anything's broken. I could always just reprint the mini, but then we need to repaint the mini. And also that printer's broken and has been for like 4 months, and I haven't bothered fixing it. It's not even broken. It's, if anyone's familiar with resin printers, the FEP ripped. The I don't know what the fuck FEP stands for. Some kind of ethyl polymer, I don't know. It's some kind of Teflon thing. The FEP ripped, and all I need to do is replace it, but it looks like a pain in the ass to replace, and I just haven't gotten around to it. And also with the quarantine, I haven't had a need to print minis, so I just haven't. Yeah, so Gargouth, who is currently in Nixie's Shield. What? That's not what I want. I want Q1. Alright. Gargouth, who is in Nixie's Shield, has true sight 120 feet. Teflon ethyl polymer? Maybe? No, that doesn't start with a F. That doesn't start with an F. It's FEP. FEP. Listen. Teflon FEP resin. Fluoropolymer, fluorinated ethylene propylene. There you go. That's FEP. I don't know, it's some fucking Teflon shit. It's essentially the screen on which the miniature prints, and then the build plate squishes against the FEP, just leaving just enough room for a layer to print. It shines light only where it needs to, so that resin hardens, and then the build plate pulls it off of the FEP. So the FEP needs to be very low suction, low friction, so that it can pull it off, and then it goes back down to do the next layer. So Gargouth, who is in Nixie's Shield, has true sight 120 feet, and then he's effectively blind beyond that radius. If at any point Oldrak's full form comes within 120 feet of Nixie, and I will be trying to track this, I would like to just like give her an aura, but there's already a lot of auras, and I'm colorblind, and I'm getting a little overwhelmed as it is. If that happens, Gargouth is going to telepathically reach out to Uldrak and offer him a deal. And the contents of that deal are essentially, you're a big, powerful Celestial, free me from this shield, and I'll help you. And Uldrak, of course, being proud, and the son of Surtur, is most likely going to decline, unless Uldrak is already bloodied. If Uldrak's bloodied, then he might realize that he needs help here, and that the people he's contractually obligated to help need help here. So if he is bloodied when the deal is offered, or when he becomes bloodied, he'll accept, and then Uldrak will start moving towards Nixie. He'll cast Dispel Evil and Good. I reviewed the spell. Apparently you need to cast the spell that protects you from Celestials, Elementals, Fey, Fiends, and Undead. And then, as an action, you can break an enchantment. So I'm assuming that that's how that works, because if you look at the Shield of the Hidden Lord, it says casting a spell Evil and Good has a 1% chance of freeing the Pit Fiend, or automatically succeeds if the spell is cast by Solar Planetar or Archdevil. I don't see any reason that it wouldn't also automatically succeed if cast by an Empyrean, since that is a more powerful Celestial than a Solar. Solars being CR20 and Empyreans being CR23. And if you believe it or not, Empyreans can cast Dispel Evil and Good once per day. So Uldrak's MO at this point is he realizes that he's essentially a sitting duck for these dragons, because they can fly a lot faster than he can. He's 50 feet up. They're 60 feet up, except for the blue one, who is on the ground, and the red one, who's 180 feet up, because he had a lot further to fly. And then Uldrak's speed is lower than the dragon's speed, and he knows that. He knows that they outmaneuver him. So what he wants to do is he wants to get into confined quarters. So on his next turn, he's going to cast Firestorm on the 3 dragons that it's actually effective against. And then he's going to move inside. I am planning on bending some of the rules, specifically with Uldrak's legendary actions. I was going to give him a move legendary action, and I was also going to give him a cast Dispel Evil and Good legendary action, just to make interesting things happen. So essentially, once Uldrak casts Dispel Evil and Good, he still needs to get over to the shield and touch it. So he's going to call to Nixie and say, hey, bring me the goddamn shield. It'll help. So then, presumably, they'll make their way towards one another, and if that happens, he frees Gargauth. So, what happens when Gargauth's freed? So if you look at Chapter 5, there's a whole section on if released, Gargauth thanks the characters to Tears of Mirth. First act is produce a contract out of thin air, claiming it'll aid the characters in their quest to destroy Zariel if they sign it. It's totally bullshit for reasons, but what I find slightly more interesting is that if the characters give Zariel the shield, she casts a spell Evil and Good on it. Her spell causes him to manifest as a miserable, malformed pit fiend at half his hit point maximum and with 4 levels of exhaustion. That's kind of what I'm planning to happen if this does go this way. That he would be a pit fiend with 4 levels of exhaustion, which means he has half of his hit point maximum. I don't know why it says half his hit point maximum, because the 4th level of exhaustion is literally hit point maximum halved. So he would show up. He still has plus 14 to hit. So even with disadvantage, he's hitting most of his attacks. And exhaustion doesn't reduce your damage output. So he's got disadvantage, but he's still hitting most of the time, and hitting like a truck. He won't have his mace, but there's plenty of things around the arena that he can just pick up and swing. So how would Nixie's warlock obligations work with him then? Well, she's already fulfilled all of her contractual obligations to him. She never sold her soul to him for power. She's just kind of leeching it off of him by being near the shield. So it's not like she's going to lose power. She just has power now. It isn't part of any particular devil deal that she made. It's just a side effect of the devil deals that she did make with him. So if he's freed, she maintains her powers, but she's going to have a hard time getting more unless she actually continues making deals with him. That's sort of how I'm planning on running it. I don't expect Steph to want to take more levels in Warlock anyway. First level spell slots are very nearly as useful to her as second level spell slots, just because any spell slot can make her a turret. And the point of the Warlock dip was that she gets 2 first level spell slots that come back on a short rest, so she gets lots of turrets. So what does Gargauth's contract even do? The one detailed here. It essentially does literally nothing. The only consequence for harming an ally under the terms of the contract is the contract's immediate negation, leaving Gargauth free to do whatever it sees fit. It literally does nothing. It's like 666 pages of talking in circles and doing literally nothing. But I don't think that's particularly interesting, and I also think that's kind of a hollow, boring way for Gargauth to screw the players over. So instead, what I'm thinking is... So by the end of all of this, the players will most likely have earned finishing the quest to find the blood of a fiend. So what I'm hoping will happen, and I'm not going to force this in any way, what I'm hoping will happen is Uldrak frees Gargauth from the shield. Gargauth and Uldrak and this Gloomweaver help them finish the fight, and then during the fight, Gargauth becomes bloodied, and then as soon as the fight is over, his contractual obligation to Uldrak in return for his freedom is finished, and then chat section is flickering. That's dumb. Damn it, OBS. I even updated OBS because like that's actually a reported bug. I updated OBS to get a version that fixes that. And yeah, it's just OBS being annoying. Because like I don't see it on my screen, but I see it in OBS. So I'm hoping that Gargauth becomes bloodied during the fight, and then Gargauth essentially wants nothing to do with the players after the fight is over, because he's fulfilled his contractual obligations to Uldrak. He has no contractual obligations to the PCs, so he just leaves. But then his blood's all over the arena because he was bloodied. For those of you not familiar with our streams, bloodied is just half or fewer hit points. That's a holdover that we brought from 4th edition. I understand he's up against Arkhan, but they also have a Celeste, an Empyrean and a Pit Fiend on their team if that does happen. And the players aren't exactly pushovers. So I don't think this is going to be as much of a stomp as you're expecting. I expect Uldrak to be able to handle the dragons single-handedly. I mean, maybe I'm just... Everyone's telling me Arkhan is a goddamn powerhouse, but I'm just not seeing it. 3 attacks for 3d8 damage. Like, yeah, he doesn't tickle, but he's no Empyrean. You know, the Empyrean does 6d6, and he's got legendary actions which essentially allow him to attack 4 times a round. So he's doing an average of 124 damage a round versus Arkhan's 75 damage a round. Like, I don't... Like, if Uldrak decides to lay into Arkhan, Arkhan's 23 AC essentially means fucking nothing against Uldrak's plus 17 to hit. So Uldrak's just going to hit 4 attacks in a row, do literally half of Arkhan's health in 1 round, and then finish him off the next turn. I don't know. Like, am I missing something major in Arkhan's stat block? He's got Animate Dead, but no time to cast it. He's got Branding Smite. Sure, he can. He's got a Smite spell. Keys is almost busted. Most of the players are bloodied or worse, and Nixie's low on spells. Yeah, this is true. Blanket's still full on health. Players are surprisingly resilient when they're down on death saves. And they have incredibly powerful NPCs on their side. Also, the other thing is that the Shield of the Hidden Lord has a hidden feature. So on Nixie's next turn, this is going to happen. Anytime during your turn, the shield can choose to radiate an aura of dread for a minute. Any creature hostile to you that starts this turn within 20 feet of the shield must make a DC 18 Wiz save. On a failed save, they're frightened until the start of their next turn. And on a successful save, they're immune to this power for 24 hours. So that's going to happen as soon as Nixie's turn starts. That might stop people from attacking her, or might make them miss if they continue to attack her. Like, most of Arkhan's spells are meaningless in the context of, yeah, it is a little weird that zombies aren't immune to frightened. In battle, he uses Branding Smite. So he uses Branding Smite at 4th level, base at 6, so it's 4d6 extra. If Gargauth is purged from the shield, does it retain its qualities? That's a very good question, and the answer is yes. So, while holding the shield, getting +2 bonus to AC and fire and resistance to fire damage. If Gargauth is freed, the shield shatters. Not true. While holding the shield, you gain a +2 bonus to AC and fire damage. Sentience. It is sentient as long as it imprisons Gargauth. While sentient, it has the following properties, which suggests that if it's not imprisoning Gargauth, it still has these properties. So you lose the fireball, and you lose the sentient stuff, and then you lose the aura of dread, which is going to show up for the first time. So if Zariel it doesn't even say that if Zariel destroys it, that yeah, it keeps the +2 AC and the fire resistance, but the spells, the spell casting, and the sentience go away. Yeah, I haven't found anything about the shield breaking when Gargauth is freed, and in fact, my understanding of this. Just on Discord. My understanding of this is that with Gargauth no longer in the shield will return to its former beauty. So over time, Gargauth's evil has warped the shield's appearance so that its celestial motif and designs have become twisted into a fiendish face that subtly moves in disturbing ways. So, I commissioned some new art. Ta-da! So I had Bayless do another version of Nixie with a celestial version of the Shield of the Hidden Lord. So, neat. So that'll get revealed on Wednesday, if and when the shield is purified. Speaking of which, there were. I wanted to put sort of a disclaimer on this this prep stream. I like talking to viewers. I like getting viewer feedback on what I'm planning. I like when people point out things that I might not have thought of. I still don't see how Arkhan is that powerful, but like, I mean, I guess like you can't all be wrong. But what I'm trying to get at is I like sharing things ahead of time. I don't like when things are shared ahead of time with my players. So on last week's stream, there were a few people who were teasing spoilers. I don't think any spoilers actually ended up in chat, but I don't want to see people teasing spoilers in chat. Like, ooh, you guys better look out. Like, don't do that. So this is going to be the one warning. I'm going to empower my mods to give people timeouts if we see that kind of chat. Yeah, so just wanted to get that out there. At some point, Steph had to close chat because someone was threatening spoilers, and Steph is one of our moderators, so I don't want that to have to happen. Yeah, so thanks, guys. Thanks for understanding. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts going on in this fight. Obviously, I have no idea what everyone's initiative order is going to be. Yeah, spoilers are never fun. Spoilers are fun for about 3 seconds for the person who is spoiling things for someone, and they disproportionately remove 20 times as much fun from the person getting spoiled as they give to the person spoiling it. So, not cool. Party foul. So, I'm hoping that I never have to have this conversation again. So let's start a new file. Start a new notes file. The date of next session is going to be the 6th. So 2020-05-06, because I use the proper date format. So essentially none of last session's prep needs to be copied to this session, because pretty much everything happened except for the stuff at the Monument of Tiamat if the players managed to get there without pissing anybody off. So So things that I need to be aware of. So behaviors. In battle behaviors. Yeah, I did manage to get to use like most of my notes. So I forgot about the start of session notes until like 20 minutes in. We used all the Uldrak's grave notes. At Arkhan's tower, I just made a note for them to roll navigation to get there. This shouldn't have even been there because by the time that prep session came around, I already knew they weren't going to go to the obelisk. So when they show up to the tower, Obatala roars to announce them. Krull walks up with 4 ghouls. There's 50 skellies and 30 zombies. He demanded the crown. Obatala comes off the roof, aggroes all the undead, half inside, half outside. When she died, her siblings started coming. When Krull was reduced to half health, so Krull went from, I think, max health to 1 health, and only stayed at 1 health because of his death ward. So he cast Sending, alerting Arkhan, and then 3 rounds later, Arkhan teleported into the tower. This one never happened. So my plan was that Krull would actually have an opportunity to run away, but he knew that he was at 1 hit point and he couldn't afford to provoke an opportunity attack. So he just kind of stood there. And then if and when Uldrak transforms, he goes on a rampage, and he started to do that. So yeah, I essentially used all of my stuff. So the way that I'm gonna write, I'm not gonna, just to reduce indentations, in battle behaviors. Arkhan, attack the most threatening invader. What if summons a war priest outside? War priest. Is that a stat? I've never heard of the stat book. From Bolos? CR9. It has Revivify. I mean, yeah. That would work. Mass Cure Wounds would be absolutely disgusting. It'd require me to track death saves for anyone who went down. Wouldn't be the first time I did that. Jesus, this guy's a tank. Flame Strike. He's not particularly threatening offensively. He does have Spirit Guardians. That spell sucks. Like, to deal with. Spiritual Weapon, it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, if your goal is to kill the players, War Priest could tip the scales. Ho 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 ho. So, Arkhan, attack the most threatening invader. 0 sense of self-preservation, but if reduced... Arkhan does have Revivify, but Arkhan doesn't give enough shits about Krull, I don't think. Also, Krull's corpse is, like, way up there. Like, Krull died, like, somewhere around here. I'm just gonna, like, throw Krull. Just gonna throw a dead Krull token. There. Literally under the blue dragon. I'm just gonna put him here so that it's not, we don't have overlap. He is his second in command, but Arkhan's not gonna have a goddamn tower if he doesn't kill these people. So raising Krull is a if I can when they're dead. And he has Raise Dead, so he's not worried about doing it right now. You know, if need be. Arkhan is smart enough to know that casting Revivify on Krull isn't going to do much in the grand scheme of the battle. And the amount that it would do is way less than what it costs Arkhan, which is several turns of movement and then an action to Revivify. Gesh would be interesting on the Imperium, but not an in-combat spell. Yeah. 1 minute. So 0 senses of self-preservation until reduced to, let's go with a quarter of his hit points, which would be 55 hit points. At which point he teleports. So he has 5 charges left in the hand. I'm just assuming he had 8 at the start of the day. He used 3 to cast teleport. He is. Oh, I need to make this big. You guys probably can't read this. So it's a word wrap. 0 sense self-preservation to reduce 55 hit points, at which point he teleports. He'll take as many people as he can when he teleports away, but he's more interested in living to fight another day than getting all of his companions out, because he knows that death is. Yeah, he has slow and a teleport. That was essentially my plan. So he would open with slow on the War Machine's passengers. How big is slow, incidentally? Is that a 20-foot radius? 40-foot cube, so he can easily hit everyone on the... oh my god, it's friendly. He even gets to pick them. Finger of Death is really expensive at 5 charges, and it's also a worthless spell when you cast it on players. I mean, it's not worthless. It does damage, but you can't really kill a PC with it unless you kill them with massive damage. In which case, what level PCs are you throwing this at? It only does about 50 damage. So in order to kill them with massive damage, they need to have less than 50 max HP, which is like level 7. I mean, Folg's only got like 52 right now, but he's a sorcerer with +1 con. But you, like, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could crit. But yeah, so Finger of Death is pretty useless against PCs. So yeah, that's Arkhan. Toragar, stay close to Arkhan. Chop down any threats. So cut down any threats. Manticore and Chimera have breath attacks. That's neat. As do all 4 fucking dragons. Fire Breath, which Blanket won't take any damage from. Nixie will take very little from. What's the Manticore's breath weapon? Manticores have a poison? Manticores don't have a breath weapon. So, if I recall correctly, Chongo is the Manticore? Yeah, Chongo is the Manticore. So I'm just gonna rename these. Asojano. Chongo. I'm like 90% sure you summoned a Chimera, Lunaraya. Because that was in Infernal Machine Rebuild, and we started that at level 5, I think. So I think by the time you summoned, we were level 6, so Chimera would make sense. Yeah, I think it was a Chimera, but I don't have a Chimera mini, so I used a Manticore mini. I think that might be the confusion. So I have very little information, like Manticore Companion. That, not super. But Arkhan. So Arkhan leading the charge on the back of Asojano, and Toragar by his side carried on the back of Chongo. So it sounds like Chongo is not Toragar's mount. It's not an animal companion. It's just a friend. So Chongo isn't Torgar's mount, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's the same size, but Asajano is actually Arkhan's mount. So sorry, no. Arkhan leading the charge on the back of Asajano the Chimera. Right in the book. This is supposed to be zoomed in too. I just have everything like real small, so it's like unreadable. On stream, that's one too big. There we go. You can have more than one mount. I mean, yeah, I guess. If you want to be like that. But Arkhan will ride Asajano as an independent mount. So I'm going to do Asajano. Carries Arkhan where he needs to be. Arkhan commands him verbally. What languages do chimeras speak? Understands Draconic. In Draconic. Beautiful. Perfect. Arkhan is evil. He wants to be like that. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So, Chongo. Chongo the Manticore. So Chongo, stay out of melee, throw thorns, throw tail spikes at ranged combatants. So, other combatants that we have. We have Gloomweaver. Gloomweaver is a summon, so he has Sorry, I'm on Discord. I should get off. I should stop reading Discord. So Gloomweaver has no self-preservation because he is summoned. Dragons. Murder Uldrak because they are aware of who he is. Seeing as Manticores are CR3 making Chongo a Manticore Heart Piercer. I feel like I'm going to regret even looking this up. I think you made that up. I think you made that up. Did you get that from 5e Tools? Yeah. What in the hell is PSA? Plane shift something. Plane shift Amonkhet. So, no. I think the players definitely have plenty on their plate. It's fine if the Manticore isn't hilariously threatening. I mean, he does throw 3 spikes. +5 to hit, D8 damage. Like, it's not nothing. Yeah. It's not in an officially published module or supplement. Yeah, it's literally just here, have +2 to hit. It also doesn't have tail spikes. It just has or wings. It doesn't even have wings! Amonkhet, you have shitty Manticores. Shitty Manticores. So, dragons want to murder Uldrak because they're aware of who he is. And I'm not going to get into why they know that. Just Tiamat. End of story. Uldrak. D&D Manticores also lack their charming song. I think there's a variety of mythologies that include Manticore, and I think that might only be in some of them. But yes, D&D takes liberties with the mythologies that they borrow from. So I'm going to say that Uldrak has a high level of self-preservation. He didn't get this far just to die here. You might be aware, I'm aware, that if he dies, he just sort of like, his soul goes back to his, essentially his dad, goes back to Surtur, who can just go, yeah, you get a new body. But maybe he doesn't know that. Maybe he forgot about that after 3,000 years. I mean, he's only been an Empyrean for like 30 seconds at this point. And the players definitely don't know that, and it's probably going to feel weird if he just, like, high level of self-preservation. Firestorm, the black, green, blue dragons run inside. Use LAs to finish dragons. Extra planar enemies are fun that way. Yeah, mortals, yeah. Turn down Gargouth's deal until he is bloodied. Gargouth. Offer Uldrak a deal that has Gargouth helping win the fight in return for Uldrak freeing him. I'm trying to get everything to fit on one line, even though I'm going to zoom out, and it's going to be like... Mordenkainen will be very pissed. Mordenkainen will be hilariously pissed. Especially if the players bring him Gargouth's blood. And the reason for that is that Gargouth actually reached out to Mordenkainen telepathically, and he said, hey, I'll give you my blood if you let me out. And Mordenkainen already said no. So, yeah. Mordenkainen will be very upset on behalf of the balance. And real talk, I'm planning for, if Gargouth is released here, I'm actually planning for Gargouth to be like a second big bad after the events of the main campaign. So, have fun with that info. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Probably just Gargouth is going to go do what Gargouth do and try to become the 10th of 9 again. Or try again to become the 10th of 9. Once freed, if, when he is freed, help out till the fight is over, then leave. Mordenkainen would lose his shit. Gargouth would be... Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with Gargouth and Nixie and their stuff. Yeah. Mordenkainen would read about the balance. Who else? Who else is in this fight? Skeletons. Zombies. Mindlessly shoot arrows at enemies. Well, skeletons. Mindlessly shoot arrows. Zombies. Mindlessly shamble towards and slam enemies. Would they treat Arkhan as hostile now that Krull is dead? No. I'm gonna... Is it Command Undead? Is that what it's called? No, what the hell? Oh no, Animate Dead. Yeah. Yeah, the spell doesn't end when you die. So they're still technically under Krull's control until 24 hours elapse. And their orders include don't attack Arkhan. Like, they have a short list of approved people, and Arkhan and Torgar and Asajano and Chongo are definitely on that list. And most likely the dragons, too. I should put the names, the dragons' names in here. Because, like, I can look at the picture and know like what color they are, but I want to put their names in here. So the black dragon, Slarkus. The green dragon is Vermilius. The blue dragon is Vista Lancer. And the red dragon is Flash. That's a cute name. Alright, so I got names. Katie, zombies. I feel like I'm missing someone. Zombies. Like, I guess that's everybody. Arkhan, Jana, Torgar, Chongo, Gloomweaver, Dragons, Uldrak. I'm actually gonna move the skeletons up here. We're gonna move the Gloomweaver down. Actually, what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna probably the new summons coming in during the session. Yeah, I mean, I can't really foresee that, can I? Can I, Jay Miller? But yeah, I just wanted to put all of the enemies. That one guy just subbed. Thanks for subbing, that one guy. Welcome to the Guild Troll. Yeah, it will be the same encounter. So I think it was Sean and Lunaraya can't summon again, but other people can summon, like Jay Miller. Or Andy, or Tim, or Fast Leody. Fast Leody is currently our #1 cheerer for this month, which is really weird because I feel like we had more than just the 2 cheers on literally yesterday. Yeah, that Eleutherid got a little bit rocked. I have an idea to help the players that doesn't work if the DM has nat 20 as well. I only have 1 right now. So just wait until Arkhan uses a branding smite to murder Abaddon and crits it. So yeah, I think this is all of the behaviors that I need for the fight. So Gargath offers Uldrak a deal once he's within 120 feet of Nixie. Uses Dispel Evil and Good. Uses Aura of Dread on Nixie's first turn. No Dracoliches in the tower. Why would there be Dracoliches in the tower? Arkhan's able to make his own zombies and skeletons. Yeah. Yes, the Oathbreaker aura buffs undead and fiends. I mean, so NPCs are not built like... so there's 2 cults of the dragon. Let's be clear on that. So there's the old cult of the dragon that had absolutely nothing to do with Tiamat and focused on creating Dracoliches. And then there's the new cult of the dragon that Severin Silrajan started by poaching most of the old cult that worships Tiamat. So the Tiamat worshipping cult of the dragon does not care about Dracoliches. Yeah, those are 2 different cults. So, so yeah, like he has Aura of Hate. He has some smite spells, but he doesn't have spell slots, and he doesn't have divine smite. So like he was built to behave like an Oathbreaker paladin, but he isn't an Oathbreaker paladin. He's an NPC. NPCs aren't built like players. If they were, this character would be hilariously complicated. For instance, he only has 3 skills. The minimum number of skills that a PC can have is 4. But like PCs are so much more complicated than any NPC, and the reason for that is, as a DM, I have all of these fucking dudes to keep track of. So yeah, that's there's too much for one DM to have to keep track of. The Dragon Tooth Dagger, how would that affect people in this situation? If that's the one, is that the one that does like extra damage against enemies of the Cult of the Dragon? Yeah. If I don't know the provenance of this weapon, so I don't know. Arkhan is immune to Frightened, so yeah, he would be immune to the Aura of Dread. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I didn't actually watch any of the combat that included Arkhan at the end of Critical Role Campaign 1. I watched the scene where he stole the hand just to get an idea of the way that that Joe played the character, because I feel like I want to at least kind of sort of be true to that, how he plays it. Incidentally, now that Arkhan is here, if someone wants to tweet at Joe that Arkhan is appearing in a D&D session when we start playing, I wouldn't complain. Paladin Barbarian, cool, that's neat. So I think this is about all of my prep. Like, I don't really... I can't plan for where they're going to go after Arkhan's Tower, other than they're probably going to go back to Mordenkainen if they get the blood. If they don't get the blood, then Arkhan doesn't have rage. Torrigar has rage. Torrigar's got rage. I do have to review Torrigar's abilities. Scimitar, Scimitar, Horn. Gauntlets, Rage. Bonus action, Rage. Doesn't have any other bonus actions. Or does he? Gauntlets. Bonus action. Awesome. So he has to do both. Let's say he lit his swords before the teleport. There aren't any more reinforcements because this is actually everything that was in the tower. They kind of assumed that 5 dragons would be enough. And also, this tower isn't important. This tower is just where Arkhan lives. Like, this is just Arkhan's. This isn't Tiamat's. This is just Arkhan's. You know, this is his major domo and his major domo's undead, and also some dragons that Arkhan is friends with. Yeah, it's Arkhan's chill pad. So, I think this is about it. This fight could go very, very many ways. It's very likely that someone dies, and if Abaddon dies, that's a whole interesting thing, especially if Gargauth is released, because Nixie no longer has access to, you know, anyone who can raise dead. Actually, does nope. Okay, I thought maybe Uldrak could. Yeah, Abaddon's at like 3 health right now, so he's not doing good. He's not doing good. Yeah. But if he goes down, then actually, if he eats a finger, he just goes down to 0 hit points and doesn't die, because finger death doesn't automatically kill people. It just... Yeah, Arkhan can raise dead, but he's not going to waste it on any of the PCs. He would rather raise Krull from the dead and then just use Speak with Dead on the things, on the PCs to get information out of them. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is, prior to the session, I'm going to roll initiative for all of the NPCs, and then rearrange them in this document by their initiative, so that I can just like scan through the document as we're doing initiative, and then I'll just put Gargauth on wherever Nixie shows up, because Gargauth essentially acts on Nixie's turn for Aura of Dread. So actually, how about I just do that now?
Do I have dice up here?
No, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get dice. I've returned with dice. Nothing steps, nothing. Yeah. All right. So let's start rolling initiative. So I need some stat blocks. So I need Chimera, Manticore, Empyrean. I don't need like most of these. In fact, I'm just gonna get rid of all of them. All right. Skeleton, zombie, oh Jesus, young green, young black, young blue, red wormling, so like I said, Nixie's powers are hers. They are not Gargouth's that she's borrowing. They're hers that she got because she made a bunch of deals. So she had, like, they're her powers. They're not Gargouth's anymore. If she wants more power, she has to make a new deal. But she has this power. Like, this is just something that she can do now. So I got Arkhan, Torgar, Asajano, Chongo, Skeleton Zombies, 5 different dragons. I got the Empyrean, and then I need the Gloomweaver. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of different stat blocks in this fight. Is it 2 words? It is 2 words. All right, so let's go. Arkhan, we got a +1. That's a 10. Torgar's got a 17. Asajano the Chimera got a 1. That's good. Yeah, they're still bound on a technical level, but she's not going to lose her powers. I know some DMs like to screw with their warlocks. I prefer to use warlock as, you know, like the warlock pact, whatever, their patron, as a way to add to the game, not take away from the game. So I don't plan on taking anything away from her. Skeletons, 16. Zombies, oops. 10. Dragons. Wow. I'm sure this is riveting. Sure, this is riveting content. More so flavored. Yeah, it kind of works like goo, where the it's kind of, yeah. Gargouth was probably aware that she was slowly siphoning his power by... Goo is a Great Old One Warlock. Gargouth was probably aware that she was siphoning his power, but not able to do anything about it. And then Gloomweaver's got a 16. Alright, so now I just gotta rearrange these. for now, have you thought of any current spells or even modifying spells that could basically dead shut off a war machine for a time? Anti-magic field turns off war machines. Yeah. So I'm just going to rearrange these by their initiative. And I'm just going to use like a combined bubble sort. So Gargoth goes on Nixie's initiative. We've got the Young Black, Young Blue, Uldrak, Torgar, Gloomweaver, wrong button, Skeletons, and then Chungo, Arkhan Zombies, Wormling, Green Dragon, and then Asajan. How would the Soul Furnace react to the anti-magic field insofar? Continue to contain the... If I recall correctly, I believe the souls remain inside. That's a good question. Let's find out. War machine shuts down and can't be restarted. That's all. Yeah. So it wouldn't free the souls inside, it just, you can't drive. So here's my initiative. The players are going to show up at some point in this initiative. Fortunately, the blue dragon did go before Uldrak. I am going to put stunned on his first turn, because that's a thing. I'm going to put 0 on the ground. 0 feet up on the ground, prone, 60 feet up, 180 feet up, and 60 feet up. Time for some weaponized anti-magic field shots. Oh, that'd be neat. Little EMP bombs. Throw them at someone else's war machine. That'd be pretty cool. 1 remaining spell slot. 2/10 max HP. I do have everyone's hit points written down in my notebook. I will make sure they get into this document. Hopefully, yeah, that's not happening. I was gonna say, hopefully once I zoom out and get this to a reasonable size, I can see like the whole thing all at once. I think my monitor might be a little bit taller. Still, I'm not gonna be able to get everything on screen all at once. So I will have to do some scrolling, but not the end of the world. What would be really neat is if I could somehow combine my notes into this. And in fact, that reminds me, I can make an encounter on here. Create new. Arkhan's Tower. Manage characters. There's 4 level 9s. Do I feel like doing it? Is this gonna help me though? Like I can put encounter, like I can just copy like everything into here. Why not? Let's start doing it. Arkhan, add. Chimera. Go away. Add. Well, having to get rid of this every time is annoying. Manticore. Add. Yeah, I might try this out, because like I can just click on, oh. Okay. Is there any way for me to like run the encounter? Is that save encounter? Yeah, there we go. So I have encounter description down here, and then I have, this takes me to his page. This could be neat. I'll give this a shot. This is a D&D Beyond tool. I'll give this a shot. But I'll do that later off stream because I don't think doing this is interesting content. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for contributing. And yeah, they are a little bit like in the central pillar. So, but they can just turn, no problem, and then keep driving. But yeah, I don't know. So this is gonna be interesting. It'll be cool to see how this shakes out. And hope you guys all tune in on Wednesday. So let me see. Wait, I can do it. Can do it from here. Quick actions. Oh Jesus. What have I done? Here, I'm gonna move this off screen where you guys can't see it. Quick actions. Up here. That's not where I wanted that. I'm gonna try a thing. Alright, never mind. I thought maybe maybe someone was live that we could raid, but nobody to raid today. So thanks for watching. See you guys on Wednesday. Bye.